that we're all in. You know, as a team, as individuals, we all feel more confident in ourselves, and that's kind of what we thrive on. So it's kind of like understanding with that togetherness and really understand the dynamic of the league. So it's like you don't want to first come in the league and like you got to earn the respect of your teammates and everything. You just can't come in dictating and, you know, like that's not a form of respect in the locker room and all that, and we understand that. So it just took time in a lot of relationships and, you know, the key players to be able to get on the same page and be able to do it, and it'll be fun.
All right, let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about tonight, and I don't want to waste a second of your time getting to it. The Cleveland Browns have officially started training camp, and I need you to understand what that means because this is not just another summer workout. This is the opening of a chapter that could define this entire franchise for years to come. Shedeur Sanders enters the game. Harold Fannin Jr. is in the field, and the storylines we've waited all offseason for are beginning to write themselves in real time. So sit back because I'm about to walk you through everything that happened, everything that was said, and everything that is being left out by people who don't want to tell you the truth. First, let me set the scene for you because context matters here more than people understand. This isn't your typical training camp opener. This is a training camp opener for a brand new coaching staff with a quarterback room that has more tension in it than just about any room in the entire league right now. Todd Monken runs this offense now, a new voice, a new philosophy, a new set of eyes looking at every single throw, every single read, every single decision these quarterbacks make out on that field. And when a new coaching staff comes into a situation like this, they don't look at reputation. They're not looking at draft status. They are looking now. Who is doing the right thing right now? Who is throwing the ball on time right now? Who looks like the guy you can trust when the lights are brightest? That's the lens that this whole camp is being viewed through, and I think that a lot of outside voices are missing that entirely. So here's what actually happened on day one. The media was excluded. So I want you to let that sit for a second because this detail is more important than people realize. The Browns organization decided to own this moment. They didn't permit outside cameras, outside reporters, outside narratives to shape the first impression of this camp. Instead, the team's own footage did the talking. And that footage, what did it decide to show us? Shedeur Sanders. Over and over, more than any other quarterback on that roster, the lens located him. Now, you can call that coincidence if you want, but I don't believe in that kind of coincidence. Not in a league where every single frame of footage that gets released is chosen with intention. When an organization is in control of the message, but elects to put a certain player front and center, that tells you something about who they think the story actually belongs to. And look, I know today was for the most part individual drills. I know it was mostly rookies and QBs running through pass skelly, no full team, no hitting, no pads popping yet. There were no veterans out there. But even in that environment, stripped down, no pressure, no crowd, no full install, we still saw just what we needed to see. Shedeur Sanders finds Harold Fentress Jr. on a quick out route. Clean, crisp, no hesitance. And if you watched last season, you already know why that one moment means so much more than it seems. These two have chemistry already. This isn't two players meeting for the first time and hoping something clicks. This is a continuation of something that was already in the process, already working, already showing signs of being special before the offseason even began. Now think about that for a moment, because I want you to really grasp the significance of it. The timing between a quarterback and his number one receiver in this league, you can't just manufacture overnight. It takes practice. It takes faith. It takes a quarterback knowing where his receiver is going to be before the receiver even starts his route. And a receiver who feels like the ball is coming to him exactly where it needs to be, exactly when it needs to be there. Shedeur Sanders and Harold Fentress Jr. already have that foundation set. So while the other quarterbacks on this roster are still trying to build that same kind of connection with their weapons, Shedeur is already a step ahead, already operating with a level of familiarity that can't be taught in a classroom.
It can only be earned on the field, repetition after repetition, season after season. And that's why I keep saying, if you are Deion Sanders, if you are anybody in that building with influence over how this room is built, you don't get in the way of that connection. If it's not broke, don't fix it. When two players click into that rhythm together, smart organizations keep it going. They launch from it. They don't gamble it away chasing something unproven. That chemistry between Shedeur and Fentress is not a small thing buried in a preseason practice report. It is a building block for what this offense could be if it ever gets to grow out. Now, the talk that everybody really wants to know about, because NFL Live jumped in on this and gave us their read on the quarterback situation. And I got to be honest with you, most of what came out of that segment was actually fair and grounded, which is rare these days. I think one analyst made a point that deserves real credit because it was refreshingly honest about where Deshaun Watson is right now. This is the perfect time for Shedeur Sanders. He said it straight up, and he backed it up with real reasoning, not just talking points. Think about what is required of the quarterback position in today's age of football. Mobility, the ability to get out of trouble, the ability to extend plays with your legs when the pocket breaks down, the ability to take hits and bounce right back up like nothing happened. And then just think where Deshaun Watson is physically right now, coming off not one, but 2 Achilles surgeries. That's not a shot at his career. That's not taking away from what he did, because we all remember what he was before the injuries. Pro Bowl caliber. A quarterback who year after year had his last franchise in serious playoff contention. No one's taking that away. But football does not care what you were. All it cares about is what you can do right now, today, on this field, under these lights. And that's the window that is opening up for Shedeur Sanders. A new coaching staff, a new system Todd Monken is implementing, no legacy expectations hanging over him from a previous era of this franchise. If Shedeur can make that leap, that visible, undeniable leap from year 1 to year 2, and show it early, show it consistently, show it in a way that the other 10 guys in that huddle look at him and just know deep down that he is going to put them in the right position every single time, that he is going to deliver that football exactly where it needs to be, then this starts making itself, this decision. That's how you win quarterback battles in this league. Not by hype, not by draft stock, not by outside noise, but by the huddle believing in the guy under center. And then there was a line that stuck with me, because it's one of those quotes that sounds simple, but carries a lot of weight if you really think about it. The problem with having 2 quarterbacks is you really don't have any. I've heard that phrase in variations from coaches around the league for years, and it's true every single time. One of the most dangerous things a franchise can carry into a season is indecision at quarterback. Players feel it, coaches sense it. It comes out in body language. It appears in preparation. It shows in the commitment of a locker room to one way. The Browns have a small window to make this decision, and if they let this linger without clarity for too long, they risk being in this exact same conversation a year from now, still wondering, still guessing, still without an answer. And this is where I want to push back a little bit, because not everything that was said in that conversation was in line with what is actually coming out of the building. The quarterback battle was one that was expected to be decided within weeks. I don't think that's true. I don't believe that timeline is real, and frankly, it does not match what Todd Monken himself has said publicly. Monken has been crystal clear this competition will play out on a longer runway than people anticipate. This isn't going to be some knee-jerk reaction in the second week of camp to satisfy outside pressure or media speculation. My honest read on this, and I really want you to sit with this prediction, is that we are not getting a real answer until we are deep into preseason, possibly not until after the first or second preseason game. When is that?
when the coaching staff will have seen enough live snaps, enough pressure situations, enough decision-making under real competitive stress to actually be able to make a confident call. You don't get enough information from 2 weeks of individual drills and non-contact reps to make a decision this big. And any team that makes that call too quickly is setting itself up for regret. So let's take a step back for a moment, because I think it's important to put all of this into perspective. It's a franchise that's been looking for a long time to find stability at the most important position in football. That history makes every single rep in this camp being magnified. Every pass, every read, every decision under pressure will be dissected, analyzed, and turned into a headline. That's the reality Shedeur Sanders is walking into. And frankly, that's the reality he needs to be ready for if he wants to be the guy long term. This sort of pressure either breaks a young quarterback or turns him into just what a franchise needs. And if you look at what we've seen already, what we've seen with Fannin, how this coaching staff has positioned him, the way the team's own cameras decided to put a spotlight on him on day one, I think this is a young man who knows exactly what's in front of him and is not shrinking from it. I want to hit on something that a lot of people overlook when they talk about quarterback competitions like this. It's more than just talent. It's about control. It's about walking into a huddle full of grown men, some of them veterans that have seen quarterbacks come and go, and having them believe in you without question. That kind of trust isn't given. It is earned on every play, every practice, every decision.
And if Shedeur Sanders keeps building on what we saw today, keeps hooking up with his top target, keeps showing the poise that this new system demands, that trust is going to keep growing inside that locker room, whether the outside world is ready to admit it or not. Some of you are going to say that I'm being biased here, that I'm only seeing what I want to see. But I want you to actually look at the evidence before us, not to dismiss it. A team that still chose to highlight one quarterback above the rest, but was still a locked practice. A veteran receiver he's already in rhythm with before pads have even been put on. A national analyst saying, of his own accord, that the timing is right for him to get in. A head coach publicly saying this competition will not be rushed, which only helps the guy who needs real reps to keep proving himself. That's not manufactured narrative. That is precisely what is happening before our eyes, and I think it is important that we call it what it is instead of pretending we do not see it. Respect the situation with Deshaun Watson. I want to be clear on that because I'm not here to dismiss what he has meant to this organization, or what he still could mean if his body lets him get back to that level. But to respect a career is not to ignore the physical reality of where he stands today. Having 2 Achilles surgeries is a big blow. It's one of the hardest injuries to come back from in pro sports, especially at the level this league requires of its quarterbacks today. Mobility counts. Elusiveness counts. The ability to make something out of nothing when a play breaks down is more important than it's ever been in the history of this game. And this camp is not setting up to reward reputation right now in this very moment. It's turning out to be a reward for whoever shows, day after day, snap after snap, that they are the answer this franchise has been looking for. There's another side to this story that gets lost in all the quarterback talk, and that's the quality control side of things. The small details that casual fans never even think about.
There's no such thing as quarterback play in a vacuum when you install a brand new system under a brand new play caller. Footwork, timing, protection checks, tempo, it's all rebuilt from the ground up. And it's in that process where the separation happens between competitors that look similar on paper. The staff aren't just looking for whoever throws the prettiest ball. They're watching who processes information fastest, who adjusts protections before the snap, who gets through progressions without hesitation, who stays calm when a look doesn't match the whiteboard. Those unseen reps never make a highlight reel. but they most definitely determine who wins a job like this. And from the early signs, with the chemistry that's already there with his top target, Shedeur Sanders looks like a player who's already had the mental processing that typically takes young quarterbacks years to develop. I think it's also worth noting how much pressure there is on this entire offensive staff right now, not just the quarterbacks themselves. Todd Monken didn't take this job to babysit a stagnant QB room. He took it because he feels he can make a real weapon out of whoever ends up under center. Every rep scheme, every situational package he puts in is going to be picked apart by everyone from national analysts to the die-hard fans breaking down every clip frame by frame. That pressure is good for the guy that thrives in unstructured chaos, that doesn't need a perfectly clean pocket to make something happen, that can create just enough space to deliver a football on time even when things break down around him. And let's not pretend locker room dynamics don't matter here either, because they absolutely do. Veteran players talk. Position groups talk. It gets around quickly who is putting in the extra work after practice, who is building genuine relationships with teammates instead of just clocking in and out. If the whispers about Shedeur Sanders staying connected with his weapons off of the cameras continue to hold up, that only helps reinforce the foundation this quarterback room is being built on. Trust inside a huddle is not manufactured in a press conference, and it is built quietly, day after day, long before the lights ever come on for a real game. So here's where I stand on all this. Day one of training camp is done, and we already have more clarity than some entire off seasons have given us. We saw where the cameras were aimed. We've seen the chemistry building already. We heard analysts independently confirming what many of us already believed. And we got confirmation right from the head coach himself that this decision is not going to be rushed. And that tells me everything I need to know about how confident this staff actually is to let this thing play out the right way. I don't think we're going to get a definitive answer in the next couple of weeks like some people are thinking. I think this goes way down into preseason, maybe even the final cuts, until we really know who is walking into that regular season opener as QB1. But if I'm being completely honest with you, based on what we've seen so far, based on the chemistry, based on the system, based on the physical reality of this quarterback room, I think we already know which way this is trending. All we have to do is wait long enough for the tape to tell us what our eyes have started to tell us. Let me know what you think about all this, because I know opinions are split, and I know some of you will disagree with parts of my read here. That's perfectly okay. That's exactly why we have these conversations in the first place. Training camp is just starting. There is a long way to go until the final rosters are set, and I'm going to be right here breaking down every development as it happens, because this is one of the biggest quarterback stories in the league right now. Until next update, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon.